and welcome to Going Mad. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Vanessa.
Today we will be talking about two pretty crazy stories.
Mm-hmm.
I will be discussing kind of the interesting case of JonBenet Ramsey, and Vanessa will be discussing the Hammer murders of Illinois. As always, you can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Stitcher, and now Pandora.
Dun dun dun!
Yeah!
Sorry, that was really loud. I was really excited about it.
It's exciting. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and subscribe. Do your thing. If you have any crazy stories, email us at goingmadpod@gmail.com or message us on Instagram, Facebook. Can you message on YouTube?
I don't know. Can you?
I've never looked that far deep into YouTube. But yes, message us your crazy stories.
And our website.
Yes, and our website. We have our website, which is goingmadpodcast.com.
Mm-hmm.
I say that with a question on the end because I never know.
Yes, that is the website.
Perf. Okay, well, so Vanessa, do you want to start us out?
Yeah, I just want to say something before I get into my story today. A late happy birthday to my husband, Pat, because I couldn't do this. I couldn't do the podcast without him, so I just wanted to give him a little shout out. So his birthday was fun. Kaylee was there in FaceTime, so it was a good
I was
time.
there spiritually and virtually.
Yes, it was nice. And then another thing I want to say is actually my story came today from my ex-coworker. Her name is Dawn. Shout out to you, Dawn. Miss you.
Hi, Dawn.
She actually told me about this story, and I thought it was so crazy, so I had to do it. And so, yeah, if you guys have anything, suggestions you want us to do, like cover stories, let us know about that, too, because we'll do it, because I'm doing it now.
Yes, we will.
Yes, so let's get into it. This is in Noble, Illinois. Now, you guys, you're not going to believe this. This population is 677 people. That's
I believe
it.
I believe
That's
it. I believe it.
I mean, it's blowing my mind that something like so crazy like this can happen in a small town. And
I feel like it's more likely in a small town because there's so many less people and there's so many crazy people out there.
It's just so crazy. Okay,
So
but
crazies.
Noble is only 36 minutes actually from where I live. And if you guys know
Is it
anything
north
about
of you or south of you?
It's north. It's between Flora and Olney.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
really,
shit.
really. We need to go check it out
Goddamn.
next time you're here.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like right in between there. And if you guys don't know Southern Illinois, it's actually like 2 hours east of St. Louis. So that gives you a little bit of idea where it's at. Okay, the main bad guy in this story, his name is Christopher Churchill, and he was born in 1981. So this means that he was actually only 16 when all this horrible things happened, because we're talking about 1997, 1998, guys. So he did have a juvenile record, and he dropped out of school. It was also known that he threw a rock and hit his girlfriend's mother in the eye. So that's messed up.
What?
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw a rock at my mother's girlfriend's eye. But anyways,
No, thank you.
in 1997, Chris's half brother moved to Noble. His name was Jonathan. And so Jonathan hits it off with this lady named Deborah, who's 32. So Jonathan is 17. Deborah's 32. And they actually met because Jonathan's mom and Deborah actually worked together. And Chris's mom. So Chris and Jonathan are brothers. And Deborah is Jonathan's girlfriend. Now, Deborah and Jonathan quickly move in together, and with Deborah's children, who are 12, 10, and 6. So Chris is often hanging out at the home and even staying the night on occasions. So a few minutes later, and now we're actually in 1998, it was just a normal day at Walmart shopping with Jonathan and Deborah and the kids. And Jonathan even promised Deborah with an engagement ring.
Ooh.
So after the shopping, they go home and they find Chris there, which is no big deal because he came over all the time anyways. So they invited him in for dinner, and then after dinner, they were playing card games. And now, at this time, I guess Chris wasn't winning at playing the games and was getting pissed off. The family was poking fun at him for, sucking basically at playing these games.
Aw, poor guy.
But Chris does not find this funny, and yeah, we're getting into that. And so after the family goes to bed, Chris is still ticked off at this point, okay?
No!
Yeah, I haven't said anything yet.
I know, but I can only infer.
Yeah, so while everyone is in bed, he's drinking a lot. Just beer after beer, fuming about what happened that, everybody was poking fun at him, okay? So he gets up and goes to the kitchen, and guess what he finds? A hammer.
A hammer.
Okay, so just warning you guys,
shouldn't
this
laugh.
is about to get graphic, so I just wanted to warn you. So Chris goes up to the youngest bedroom. The two youngest shared a bedroom.
No.
Again, they are 10 and 6.
No.
And he goes after the... Yes. He goes after the 10-year-old first, and Chris hits this poor child in the head 5 times, shattering his skull. And then he does the same thing to the 6-year-old. So after he killed those two, he goes back to the living room and acts basically like nothing happened. But then now the morning time is coming, and the 12-year-old's alarm clock goes off, so she's getting up for school. She makes it to the hallway before Chris comes out of nowhere, and Chris gives this poor 12-year-old the same fate of her siblings.
No.
So what's left to do? I mean, he killed the children, so he decides to kill off the mother and his half-brother the same way. So okay, another trigger warning, guys. This is a sick fuck. He goes back to the 12-year-old, the child, and he does some unspeakable things to her. She
Oh my
lay
God,
dying.
no.
Yeah. This and think about it. He is only 16, and he just killed 5 innocent people for no GD reason.
Because he was pissed about
Because he was pissed at the card game, yeah. He actually says later on that he said that he was thinking about killing his half-brother for a while now, and that just kind of set him off, basically.
Because that's the logical answer to being mad. Is like,
Right.
well, I've been thinking about it anyway, so I might as well freaking do it.
Yep.
Oh,
And so
some
after
people.
he killed everyone, he decides just to go watch some TV, because why not? It's not like you just killed 5 people.
Good Lord.
So after he watches some TV, he decides to clean up in the bathroom. At this point, he's hungry, so he makes himself a nice little meal. And then he goes to his brother's wallet and takes his cash. So this is kind of weird part. For 6 days, no one is noticing that none of these 5 people are not seen.
6 days?
6 days. They don't go to work. The kids don't go to school, and no one's calling, doing anything. They
Good
don't
Lord.
notice, I guess. And so Chris is going... Some people do notice that Chris is going in and out of the house during these days. Not sure what he's doing, but, I mean, he's going back into the house where these 5 bodies lay. And Chris is spending all this cash that he stole, which was $900. So he was
Dang.
just spending on useless stuff, flashing it around. So a friend noticed him, like, having all this extra cash. So his friend is like, hey, what's up with this money? Where did it come from, And Chris is like, oh, I killed my brother and his girlfriend. And then Chris calls the children brats. He just admits to killing them and even called the kids brats.
Oh my God.
This guy is just, ugh.
He's a
And
piece
so
of
the
work.
friend thinks he's joking at first. And he probably just did a little nervous laugh and is okay, sure, whatever, But then later on, the friend was thinking okay, maybe this really did happen. And he ends up calling the police, thank goodness. And so the police go there and they discover the bodies and everything, and they get Chris into custody, and he actually confesses to everything.
Oh, wow.
So that brings us to 1999 when the trial begins, and he is trialed as an adult. But the defense was that Chris didn't commit these murders, but his friends did.
What?
But they didn't. Yeah, that's what they
Even
tried to go
after he
with.
confessed?
Yes, and there is a side note. I have a little side note for you guys. I did watch another video, and it was with his uncle, and his uncle doesn't believe he could have committed these murders alone. But if you think about it, I mean, yeah, that's kind of crazy for one guy to just like hammer all these.
It's not that crazy.
No, I mean, all the evidence they have pointed to him, doing it alone.
Right.
Plus, they got the confession on tape, and the jury found him guilty. And so he is spending his life in prison without parole. And another little bonus for you guys, Dawn, the person who told me about the story, she told me that when she was in high school, that Noble had a liquor store, and then they sold T-shirts that had the slogan, "Get hammered in Noble."
Oh my God.
No way. But that's true.
I need
that's what
that
she told
shirt.
Me.
I need that shirt.
Yeah,
I
it's
need
like
it.
because the liquor store get hammered and
Yeah. I need that shirt.
Yeah.
I need it.
So that's it, you guys.
Dang.
I mean, that story was hard to read.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Like these
That
poor
is for
people.
show rough.
And
Right.
the guys-
that's just so sad.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Poor kids and that was rough.
Yeah, that's a rough one for sure.
That's it. That's my story.
All right. Okay. It's Kaylee time. So
Kaylee time.
it's Kaylee time. So, and I've said this in I think literally every episode. I like to cover.
Are you gonna
cases
say it again?
of my home state, Colorado. I love, as I was pointed out to the other day, Colorado has some crazy fucks, and
Yeah.
my lovely cousin pointed that out to me, that Colorado has some crazy people, as does every state, but Colorado, I think, has the craziest. We got some real crazies here. So I'm going to be talking about the case of JonBenét Ramsey, which if you don't know what that is, then you've clearly been living under a rock, and I feel sorry for you. It's a very popular case. So JonBenét Ramsey, she was born on August 6th, 1990 in Atlanta, Georgia. She was the youngest of two children. She had an older brother named Burke. In 1991, they moved to Boulder, Colorado, which is, 20 minutes away from me, I think.
I forgot this happened in Colorado. That's crazy.
Yes, it did. As I stated previously, I like to cover.
I've covered all Illinois stories recently.
That's
so
what I'm saying. We like to do our home state cases. They're interesting.
Yeah.
She moved to Boulder in 91. And then, she was kind of entered in the child beauty pageant circuit.
Mm-hmm.
And she actually won 5 different titles in the state of Colorado. So I feel like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
She was a very pretty girl. She was so pretty. Look her up. She was a very pretty little girl. So Christmas rolls around in 1996. And, the family spending time together. Like I said, it's Christmas. 5:52 the next morning, December 26th. Patsy, which is the mother, She calls 911 stating that her daughter is missing and that she had found a 2.5-page ransom note on the kitchen staircase. The ransom note demanded $118,000, which suspiciously was the same amount that John, the father, had received as a bonus the year earlier. Which, side note, if I would have received a $118,000 bonus, like that's
like
triple my salary, guys.
Exactly.
I make 1/3 of that in 1 year.
What did he do? I don't remember. What was his job?
I don't remember.
Okay.
My dumbass didn't write it down. I want to say it was, clearly it was something where he made a bunch of money because, $118,000 bonus. So the FBI had kind of noticed that, this was an unusually strange ransom note because they're usually not that long. It was 2.5 pages, so that's kind of a long ransom note. And it also had some unusual, punctuation. The prints on the note were only found to be those of the mother, Patsy. But it was later kind of explained that she really had no involvement. They also found out that the note had been written on paper from the home, and then it was written with a pen from the home. And they found a draft of the note.
Yeah, it's just weird that, you
It's
wouldn't write it before
crazy.
you go there.
Right. Why write a draft?
Because then you're just standing in the home, anybody can walk in on you.
Right,
and see
right.
you.
For sure.
It's weird.
So, right. So, a forensic pathologist had looked at this note, and he had 60 years of experience in the field, and he had said that he had never seen anything else like this note, and that he did think it was an inside job. He did think it was one of the family members. But like I said, they found so much, they found DNA that just kind of supported that it was not a family member. After the call was placed to 911, an officer showed up and was searching the house. He didn't see any signs of forced entry. He went to the basement and found a door that had been secured by a wooden latch. He didn't open it because he was looking for escape routes, and he kind of deducted that this was not a means for escape.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, though, that's where JonBenét was found, was behind that door. So if he would have opened that door, he would have found her. Which is sad. So while JonBenét was still missing, John's the dad. He had made the arrangements to pay the ransom. And then the forensics team came to the house. So the original theory was that she had only been kidnapped, not that she had been murdered. And so they only made her room a crime scene, not the rest of the house, which kind of caused some issues.
Yeah, because you'd think the whole house would be
right.
considered.
They should have really considered the rest of the house a crime scene, but they didn't. So that was fun. Where was I? So there was a detective that ended up coming to the house to help with the ransom. But oddly, there was no attempt to even try and claim the money. There was no one that tried to pick up the $118,000, which is a little strange. At 1 p.m. that same day, so the 26th of December, that same detective asked John to start looking through the house to see if there was anything kind of out of place or, if anything seemed strange to him. He ended up starting in the basement, and he went to that door, opened it, and that's where he found the body. Her mouth had been duct taped. and she had a nylon cord around her neck, and she also had it around her wrists, and her torso was covered with a white blanket. So John grabbed the body and took her upstairs, further contaminating the crime scene. Now, I'm sure, as a dad, he was probably
Oh,
like,
yeah,
what the
yeah.
hell?
He would definitely. Any dad would have grabbed their
Oh,
child.
for sure. Like, it's not like this is his daughter that he just found dead in his basement, So, this is when all the family was kind of questioned, and they submitted handwriting evidence and blood and hair samples. So the autopsy showed that she had been killed by strangulation, and she had a skull fracture. There was no evidence of rape, but sexual assault was not ruled out. There was no semen found, but they did find an injury down below. And it also appeared that she had been wiped with a cloth down there. The murder weapon was a nylon cord that had been tightened with the handle of a paintbrush. Part of the paintbrush bristles were found in a tub containing Patsy's art supplies, but the rest of the brush had never been found to this day. They also found pineapple in her system, but her parents denied ever feeding her any sort of pineapple. Even though they had a bowl of it on the kitchen table, it was also later found to have the fingerprints of her brother Burke on it. But John and Patsy said that Burke he was asleep all night until the police showed up the next morning. So there really were never clear suspects in this case. I mean, it's just kind of with the contamination of the crime scene, and there were just no good suspects. Some people thought it was the family, and then others believed that it had been an intruder. A grand jury in Boulder County had sent a bill to charge the Ramseys with placing the child at risk and with obstruction of an investigation of murder, but the DA never prosecuted them because they just didn't have enough evidence. They just didn't have anything to really put on the family, at least not enough to prove that they had been guilty. In 2008, a new DNA had exonerated the Ramsey family, stating that newly developed DNA sampling testing basically just excluded the family altogether. Like, with the new kind of technology that they had, they couldn't match it to the family, basically. Like I stated, there's kind of a few theories about what happened. One was, like I said, the family. They thought that maybe the mom had accidentally killed her after a bedwetting episode, but Burke was really quick to defend his mother, stating that she had never been violent with them, and that they had a pretty tight family environment. That they were just kind of a close family. There's another theory that there was just an intruder that came in and killed her, and this definitely seems to be the one that makes the most sense due to the evidence that has been gathered. There were a bunch of sex offenders in the area. I think I read something like in the 30s.
Ew.
Within like a 2
That's a
mile
lot.
radius. Yeah. I mean, within like a 2 mile radius of their house. There were 30 something
So I'm guessing
sex offenders.
they got a hold of all those people, though. I think they have to, don't
I
they?
would think so. Yeah, I would think that because I know that they reopened the investigation. Like, since the 90s, they've been opening it, and then it would go cold, and then they'd reopen it, and then it'd go cold, and then, they would kind of keep looking into it. But they just can't find anything, which sucks. They had also found out that there had been a bunch of burglaries in the neighborhood, in the months before the murder. I think I read like about 100 burglaries in the neighborhood. Yeah. And if I remember correctly, the area that they lived in Boulder was not a bad area. Like, I don't know if it's just that many people live in Boulder. I don't know, but I don't remember them living in a bad area in Boulder. Some think that her pageant involvement kind of sparked the interest of pedophiles and child pornographers. So the family has been involved in quite a number of defamation lawsuits towards multiple different media outlets like magazines and CBS. Because a lot of people like to place blame on the family. A lot of people like to sit there and say that it was the family. Personally, I don't think it was the family. I do think that it was an intruder because they just don't have, like, you gotta let the evidence speak for itself. You know? Like, they have no evidence that ties, other than some weird things, but, like, they don't have any concrete evidence to support the fact that the family did it. And even the, like, DA and the police officers and the detectives, they think that it wasn't, like, they think that it was an intruder. So it's like the fact that the law enforcement doesn't think that it's the family, and they're the ones that are kind of investigating it.
Yeah, and they probably know stuff we don't either. You know?
Exactly. So it's like, I would think at that point, it probably wasn't the family. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, you never know. There are a ton of, you know, documentaries and stuff that are about this case. Like I said, it's a super famous case that's just kind of remained unsolved.
Yeah, that blows my mind that it's still unsolved. Because they have the body, you know. Usually it's hard to, you know, solve a case that you don't have a body. But
well, I think it's just the lack of DNA. Like, there really is a lack of others' DNA.
Like, they didn't have any DNA, like, on her or on the, like, the duct tape or the cord.
Not that I saw.
That blows my mind. So this person, well, there's no DNA on the letter either. So they had to been wearing gloves, obviously, then.
Right. Like, there are so many clear answers as to why certain things happened the way they did. Like you said, the letter, I mean, they could have been wearing gloves.
Yeah, they had to have been. If there was no prints anywhere, you know. Or
right. So. Yeah, it's just crazy. And this, this case will pop up in the news every couple of years because something will happen. I believe, don't quote me on this, Patsy died. So the mom, I believe she had cancer of some sort and she had passed away. And then John, who is the dad, he ended up actually he had been married previously to this, and he had 2 kids in the previous marriage, and his other daughter had died.
Oh, really?
In a car accident. And so JonBenét is actually, she's buried in Atlanta next to her half sister. And I did read that the family did move back to Georgia. They no longer live in Colorado, which makes sense as to why, like, she's buried out there and not out here. But yeah, so that's the story of JonBenét Ramsey. The sad, sad story.
Yeah, it sucks that they can't get any justice for her.
Right. Well, and I just, like, thinking about it, it's like, to be a family member constantly accused of murdering either a child or a sibling, it's gotta suck. Like, that has to be awful. You know? Like, I don't even want to think about it. So, anywho, that's what I got. That's it.
Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you liked our today's stories. We'll see you next week with some new things. Hey, if you got anything to tell us, you have a story to tell, or you have a case suggestion, or even like a haunted place that you want us to like talk about, just let us know. You can hit us up on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook. You can email us at goingmadpod.com. And you can listen to us anywhere because we're like practically everywhere.
We're very available.
Very available to you guys. So we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.